Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Friday, May 24th. This is a long weekend, Memorial Day weekend. I will be putting out my report on Monday, as usual. So we had new highs in the NASDAQ. I said yesterday that sell-off most likely we'll see a bounce off of that. We still have very strong fiscal flows going into early June. Next week, Friday, and then Monday following on June 3rd. So Friday is May 31st. Monday is June 3rd. We'll get what I call the first of the month payments. It's split up this time because June 1st is actually on a Saturday. So that's going to be like 120 billion leading flow. Yesterday I mentioned, well, before I get into that, let me just go over some of the numbers. Net government transfers now are, and that's of course aka the deficit, net government transfers are now down 191 billion compared to last year. So that gap, that negative gap, is widening. So that's a reduction of almost 200 billion in net transfers into the economy. Okay, that's because taxes are very high. Atlanta Fed revised down its GDP now growth estimate for the second quarter. It's now down to 3.52%. And remember, that thing started off at 4.2%. So pretty significant, almost a full percentage point. 7/10 or something like that down. That was the third downward revision. Okay, and I've been saying that I think they're gonna revise it down, and that's been happening. Now, the one thing I want to mention, and I started talking about this yesterday, is that we could be once again at the beginning of a new period of acceleration in these leading flows. Remember, I've been talking about the leading flows. When you compare them to last year, they've been flat. Okay, the acceleration in the leading spending flows that we saw in the fourth quarter of 2023 and about a month and a half into 2024, that acceleration stopped. Okay, the leading flows are still strong, but they're not accelerating when you compare that to last year's flows. But now it looks like they might start re-accelerating. And I wouldn't be surprised, because remember, Congress earlier this month, Congress passed that Ukraine-Israel spending bill. Now, a lot of people think that when we pass these bills, this money for Ukraine, that basically it gets spent here. Okay, it gets spent here in the defense sector and other places in our economy. So it is a stimulus, and well, let's not use the word stimulus. It is an increase in transfers. Okay, and so when I think about that, we might be at the point where this money starts to kick in now as spending. You know, it's allocated, it's being spent, it's going out. It was authorized by Congress. We might be at the point now where these transfers are going to accelerate once again. I'm watching this like a hawk every single day. And if they start to accelerate again, then this market is just going to keep going up. And now we're going to start to get upward revisions, or at least for me, I'm going to revise up my second quarter growth forecast. Remember, I said it's going to be like 1.6, maybe even less than that. And I said that the Atlanta Fed was going to have to revise down their estimate. Remember, it started off at 4.2. And so far we had 3 downward revisions. So I was right about that. But now I'm just looking to see what happens with these leading transfers. And if they start to re-accelerate, then, the party's back on, okay? And this could happen. Look, I got to break this down, and I don't want to make this confusing to all of you. Sometimes, unfortunately, the picture is a little muddled. It's not crystal clear. There's things going on. So I think the market is overvalued. Yesterday, I explained that the earnings, the PE ratio on the S&P 500 is 25, which translates into an earnings yield of 4%, right? You take the inverse of 25, 1 divided by 25, that's 4%. So basically, the stock market is giving you a 4% return right now. And you're going to get 5.5%, maybe more. I saw CDs with like 6%. You're going to get that in cash. You're going to get better than that in cash. So I don't see any big value in the stock market right now. That doesn't mean that it can't even get more overvalued. Okay, if these flows accelerate, then the market's going to keep going up to the point where you're going to get an extreme overvaluation. Okay, so let me see what happens over the next week. Okay, we'll have, and specifically, we really need to get through June 3rd, which is going to be the second tranche of that first of the month payment. Once we get through June 3rd, then, we're looking at June 15th, which is a tax drain. It's not going to be as big as the one in April. And I think right now, from that April tax drain, there's still, if I'm not mistaken, I looked at the number earlier, there's still something like 145 billion, I believe that was the number, 145 billion still to be recovered to get the non-government's balance back to where it was right before April 15th. So it's pretty significant, but by June 3rd, most, if not all of that, will finally be recovered. But then we get into another tax drain. So it could be choppy. Today's market action was all about the NASDAQ, the S&P too, but Dow started off strong, gave back its gains, basically ended with a slight fractional positive close, but new high in the NASDAQ. I don't think the S&P made a new high, but it got close. But the key thing now is to see if there's going to be a reacceleration in these leading transfers. That's what I'm going to be looking at very closely now, day to day. Anyway, that's it for the update. I did a video earlier today on day trading, and really, once again, I cannot advise strongly enough how I feel that that's just a bad activity. Okay, if you don't have an edge, and you don't have an edge unless you have some kind of inside information, that's illegal in stocks, but nevertheless, if you don't have an edge, I mean, you can't compete. Like I said, it would be like me as a novice boxer getting in the ring with Floyd Mayweather or Alexander Usyk or Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez. I mean, it's just, you don't have a chance. I mean, you're going to chop yourself up. There's going to be a period you're going to make money and you think, oh, this is an easy game and watch me. And then you're going to give it all back. And it's really, really, I think it's just folly to believe that you can get the market to pay you some kind of daily wage or weekly wage. That's not how you should look at it. That's not how you should look at it. I mean, that's a gambling mentality. I'm not saying, maybe there are some people who do it. I guarantee they have some kind of edge. And if they do it, I've explained so many times my experiences on the trading floor. there were, in each pit that I traded in, there were a few guys who kind of eked out, a decent salary, if you want to call it, for themselves every year. They made a few $100,000 or something, which maybe sounds like a lot of money to most people. Back then, it was definitely a decent amount of money. But they were very few. And they were extremely, extremely disciplined. And they had the advantage of standing in that trading pit. You don't have that. You don't have that. You don't have the algo advantage. You don't have, your computer servers right next to the New York Stock Exchange servers or the CME's data center out there in Illinois. You don't have that. So if you're thinking you're sitting there looking at your screens and looking at your charts, it's just the guys who make money in this business short term, like really short term, every day, they have an edge. And that's an edge that you don't have. So anyway, I said enough on this stuff. I will say, and every day I finish off try out my service, 30-day free trial, MMT trader. I'm the only guy, blah, 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 with the MMT experience and the trading experience. But I will say that if you're a short-term trader, my stuff is not going to be of any, I want to put that out there right now. My stuff is not going to be of any use to you whatsoever. If you're interested in learning, if you're interested in understanding, if your goal is to build wealth over a period of time, having a very strong understanding about the economy and the monetary system and how it functions, yeah, it'll be invaluable to you. But if you're looking for trading in and out, there's no sense to come to me. No sense. Anyway, that's it for today, folks. Enjoy the Memorial Day weekend if you're going to celebrate that. And I'll be back probably on Tuesday. Bye. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe if you choose to. And again, you can go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com. Sign up for a 30-day free trial of MMT Trader. Bye.